Good evening everyone, and welcome to the 8th video in the series. So today we are going to focus on adding a lives system. So you have 3 lives or 3 tries, and if you lose all 3 tries, you restart the game, you lose your progress, you lose your score and everything that comes with it. And also we are going to add something to our options menu. So right now if you click on our options menu, it does nothing. And so we'll probably also add like a difficulty setting in there, though it won't do anything for now, but we'll just add the placeholder for now. So let's go into our shape pattern. Now first off, let's do something with our options menu. So right now if we open up our options menu, it does nothing. So let's fix that. First off, we are going to create a new scene. So let's go here. So it's going to be the same node as the main menu scene, which would be a control node. Let's rename it to options menu. Good. Next, we would bring in our texture react. So texture react will hold the background color. But before we even do that, let's go to our main menu and copy the color of this background. Let's click on the background, go to our modulate, and we'll copy this color here. Then let's go back here, bring in our texture react. Change it to, rename it to options background. Now come here to our texture, new canvas texture, and then go to our visibility, modulate, and paste the color code that we copied before. Press enter, and that is it. So now we can manually just stretch it to fill the entire screen. It doesn't really matter if it goes out of bound, because if you, let's save it first so I can show you. It's a scene, so we'll save it in our scenes folder and we'll save it here. So now let's play it. It doesn't actually go out of bound here, it doesn't actually affect anything, so because of these black bars, but which we are going to fix this later on, because we don't want it to be having these black bars when we eventually play it on like a mobile phone. All right, so next let's add in a small label here that just says options menu, or just say options. So come here, add in our label, and let's just say options, let's see, options label. Then we'll come here, we'll just type options, then let's go down to change the size. I think 50 would be good. Yes, 50 is good. Okay, that's good. So now let's move it to the center here. So let's play it and see. Good, so options. Next, we would have like a small text here that just says, the basic instructions of the game. So in order to do that, let's just come here to our options, and we are going to add 2 things. We'll add our label, and then we'll add a rich, something called a rich text. You see what I mean? So plus, we have our label, and then we'll just call this our let's see, instructions. Then under this instructions, we'll add in our rich text label. So add that there. These instructions we're supposed to add. Oh yeah, so let's rename this to instructions label. Sorry about that. Instructions label. Then in the text we'll write instructions. And we would also change the size to, let's give it 40. Then let's come to here and we can just say, let's see, number 1 something. This is just to simulate like the instructions. Number 2 something. Number 3 something. This is just a placeholder for now, something. So later on when we are doing like cleanup, we can then actually put in the instructions for the game. So let's go into theme overrides, font size. Let's see, normal, this is, let me expand it so you can see normal font size. So let's just give it 40 and expand it. Oh wait, and expand it. Why should it be moving? Oh, I seem to have made some mistakes. So I combined the rich text to be inside the, as a child of the instructions label, but it's supposed to just be on its own. Sorry about that. Let's just bring it down here so they are separate. So instructions will be here and this would be here. Let me just put it like this. So we have the options menu, background, options label, which is this, instructions, which is this, and then the rich text, which is all this here. Good. Now next we're going to have another label, and then next to it would be like a drop down menu of difficulty options like easy, medium, and hard. So first off, we're going to click on our options menu and then bring in let's see, a H box would be good for that. H box container, and we'll just say, let's just call it difficulty container. Difficulty container, and then inside this container we're going to have two things. We'll have a label, and then we would have something called an options button. This is why I love Godot. Everything that you're looking for is a node, so you just pick it up and drag it to wherever you want. So this label, let's just call it difficulty label. And this options button, you can just call it difficulty option. So difficulty option. Good. So difficulty label, let's just put our text to be I don't know, choose difficulty. Good. And as usual, we'll change the font size to, let's say 30. Okay, yeah, 30 is good. And then we have the difficulty options. So under the difficulty options, we have something called items, where you can add in what items are going to be inside the drop down menu. So we would go to the items, add elements 1, 2, 3. So we just make this to be easy. This is where we set the text easy, normal, and hard. So as you can see, they automatically have an ID. So we can later play with them, like, oh, if ID is equal to 1, change the game, maybe increase the speed and make the game harder or something like that. So but this is okay for now. Then let's move our difficulty container here. Good. So now let's save it and let's play the game and see. Good, so we have our options, instructions, something, then choose difficulty. If you click on it, you see easy, normal, and hard. Good, so you can pick it, easy or hard. And finally, last but not the least, we will connect our options button to this page, and we should also make another button that will take us back to the main menu. So let's just bring in a random button for now. See, button, and we'll just call it back, or back button. Good. And this will just be back. And let's increase the size to 30. Good. Now let's zoom in. Let's move it where we can see it properly, like here. Good. Now let's go. Let's save it. Let's play it and see first, so it shows clearly. Yeah, so we can have it here. So let's go back to our main menu, our options menu. Okay, it's already connected because of this signal. So let's go to our script, and on options button pressed, we wanted to do this exact same thing here, but instead it would go to the options menu. Save it. Now we'll do the same thing for the options menu, but this time it would go back to the main menu. So back button. Also, we actually have to make a script for the options menus first. So options menu plus, attach a script to it. Scenes. So we don't want it to save in the scenes. Let's save it in our scripts. Options menu, open and create. Good. Save it. Let's go back to our options menu here. Click on the back button and node pressed. So connect. Now when you press the back button, it should do the exact same thing, but this time it will go back to the let's see, is this it? It should be the main menu. Good. Save it. So now if we play it, now let's see what it will look like. We have our shape pattern, start, options, option and exit. If you click on options, it takes us here. Select the difficulty, normal, you're done. Go back, it takes you back here. Good. Options, go back, it takes you back here. Press on start and you start the game. Good. Okay, so now that that's done, let's move on to the second part of our video today, which is to add the lives counter or lives meter. So we are just going to have 3 lives for now. If you lose all 3, the game restarts. So let's go to our main here. So the lives meter will probably be here. Lives, 3 lives. So let's, first of all, as usual, we'll add in our canvas layer to our game UI. So we'll add a canvas layer and we'll name it, let's see, lives, yeah, lives layer. Good. Now under this lives layer, we're going to have a horizontal, no, sorry, H box, I mean. And we'll just like name this lives container. Let's remove this lives container, and then inside this lives container we're going to have 2 labels. 1, Control D, 2. We'll name this the lives label, and this would be, the second one would be the lives value. Good. So in the lives label, go to inspector, let's just name it to be lives. And as usual, we set the font size to be 50. Come here to the value, and this time we'll make it to be 3. So it always starts with the value of 3, as in 3 lives. Then we come down to our font size and set it to be 50. Good. Now let's select everything and move it down here. Good. So now let's play it. Let's save it and play it and see. Okay. So we have our score and we have the lives here. Good. Now let's move on to the fun part, which is the coding. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set our variable for lives, which would always be equal to 3. Then we are going to create a function that references the lives value here. So each time you lose a life, it updates the value of this lives value, which is 3 here, and it minuses 1 from it. So let's just go down, let's make it here function, let's just call it update lives value, let's say display. Good. And then all it does is that it makes a reference to the lives value, which is in the game UI. Yeah, lives value. And then it takes that text and changes it to the current value of lives. Good. That's good. Next, now we are going to create a function for decreasing life. But probably let's make it close to this. Let me see, increase score, decrease score. Let's make it close here, close by. So function, let's call it I don't know, decrease life. Increase lives. Now inside here we just say lives minus equal to 1. After it has done this, then it will go and update. It will call the update lives display, which would take the value of lives minus 1 and updates the current lives value in that other function. Then, okay, let's see. Okay, that's it for now. Next, we want to make a function. Let's say we'll call the function game over. So what happens when the lives become 0 from 3? So we have to also tell it that. We'll go a function, let's just call it game over. Now in this game over, just to be sure that it works, let's print game over. Print game over. Next, we want to tell it that our lives is equal to 3. Then let me see, if it's game over, the lives go back to being equal to 3, and then your score becomes 0. Good. And then we call the update lives display, which would so let's make a reference to, also we have to make a reference to the score value, because we are changing 2 things now. We're changing the lives back to 3 and we're changing the score to 0. So let's make a reference to our game UI. We're looking for our score value. Alright, game UI slash score container. Yeah, so score value dot text, small letter, equal to the string and then take the score. Good. Then we reset the game. So this game over, what it does, it prints game over to the terminal. Then the lives go back to being equal to 3, so you can start over. Your score is 0 because you lose all your progress, and then it updates your lives meter. Then it also updates your score and it resets the whole game. So then we go back to our decreased lives and say if lives is less than or equal to 0, then call the game over function. Good, that's good. So now the final part would be to tell it where should it call the decreased lives function. So what should happen in the game that the game would need to call the decreased life function. So you would have to lose first in order for the decreased life function to call. So here it decreases the score and it will also call the decrease lives function. Good. So when you lose, it shows the lose graphic, it decreases the score and it decreases your lives. And I think that's about it. So let's try it and see. Let's start from our main menu, just so we can feel good about ourselves. So let's say options, everything looks good. Back. Now let's start the game. So our lives are 3. So now let's lose a game and see what happens. Okay, yeah. So our lives become 2 and our score is -1. So we would have to probably make that up. Let's see. Lives is 1. Now let's lose. So if we lose to 0, this should reset back to 0. Good. So now it works perfectly. It works perfectly. So we have 3 lives, and if you lose it, you lose your score, and it resets back to 0. So yeah, I guess this is what we have for now, and in the next video we'll probably focus on a way to keep the high score. So if we go here, options, so we'll probably have like a current high score, or if we want to be more advanced, you could kind of compete with your friends and you could see, oh, what's the current high score now. So yeah, that's what we'll probably work on in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.